Hi, Bob Byman here. Today I'm going to start one of my poignant commentaries regarding the 4 majors that will be played in 2011. We'll be talking about either why someone won the tournament or why someone lost the tournament. For the 2011 Masters, I think it's appropriate to talk about how and why Rory McIlroy lost the Masters this year. Look, Rory McIlroy is one of the few highly gifted young players. These guys come about once every generation, but they still have to do the fundamentals in order to win majors. Now, this young man has had a couple chances now to win the major, last year in the British Open and then again here in the Masters. And both times he shot around 80 in one of the rounds. So why does he do that? Okay, so look, if you go back on a historical perspective, every great player, male or female, that has won 7 majors or more, and there has only been one guy in the history of golf that has won more than 5 majors that doesn't do what I'm going to talk about today. And if Rory wants to be one of those guys, he's going to have to learn how to do this as well. Look, last year when he did not win the British Open and he shot 80 or whatever he shot, 81 in the second round, you know, you wonder, how does a young fella like that go about shooting 80? And then you watch him in the Masters this year, and it's clear to see what actually happens. Now, this is very basic, and it has happened throughout history, and it is a big thing of what I teach all of my students. Look, every great player that has ever played has always had the palms of their hands not only facing each other, but in the same line as the leading edge of the club face. This is critical when you start getting under immense pressure, because physics will win. Okay, so if you put your grip on the golf club in a neutral way, where the palms are facing each other, and you just make a motion back and forth and back and forth, the hands always want to return back to straight up and down when they're at impact. The club face will always tend to want to come back to square. Now, Rory, at this point in his career, has a rotated left hand. It's stronger than neutral. His right hand is nearly as strong, not quite. So when he gets under tremendous pressure, there's 2 things that always happen to these players. Either with the long clubs, like the driver or the 3-wood, the hands want to come back to straight up and down, and the club face wants to come in closed. Now, he did that on 10 off the tee. He did that on 10 on his 3rd shot with his 3-wood. The other thing that happens to these players is that if they're able to get their driver and their longer clubs forward, then very often they start de-lofting the club a bit with their shorter irons, and they can't control the distance. Rory was able to do that with his irons, but his long clubs, a major championship, you cannot hit 1, you can't hit 2, obviously, duck hooks in a Masters or other majors and win the tournament. The other thing of great importance, and this is, I really have never seen this commented on, the guys that have been the greatest players of all time, the males and females that have dominated the sport in their prime, had the palms facing each other with the club face, and then when they putted, the palms of their hands were basically with the putter face as well. Now, these young fellas that grip strongly hit thousands and thousands and thousands of balls, hundreds of thousands. With a club face, they want to come in square, so their hands are used to being rotated this way when they come into square. Then they put their grips on so it's neutral, and then they come into impact and their hands want to flip a little bit this way, or they want to go a little bit that way, and all of a sudden they cannot make a short putt. That was the most evident thing in Rory's game. I mean, this guy, he could not make a putt inside of 4 feet. It was very difficult to watch. This young man has immense talent. He'll be back, regardless if he makes these changes, he'll be back and he'll probably win a major or two in his career. But he's a special enough player, if he takes this advice, then he has the chance to be a 5 to 10 major winner. And he would separate himself from all the other players of his day. So I hope you can learn from this. This is the main reason why I put my hands on neutrally and teach all my students to do that, and why the greatest players in the game do it. It has to match not only the long game, but all the way through their putting. Enjoy.